Refuse to Lose. My name is Joe Jordan. I am your host today. So we're going to talk about some NBA basketball. Not a particular game we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about one of your favorite players in NBA history, and that's Scottie Pippen. All right. Scottie Pippen did another interview about, I think yesterday or 2 days ago. It's about a 45-minute interview talking about his new book, right? But of course, he actually addressed the Last Dance documentary once again and taking more shots at Michael Jordan. So I haven't commented on the situation yet. And then somebody DM me a post, and I'm like, you know what? Let me talk about it. So let's do this. So look, Scottie Pippen must be sipping on his new drink because he tripping. All right, because he's saying some blasphemous stuff. I mean, think about it. He don't feel as though he's getting the credit he deserves. He said some things. First, this is what we're going to do. We're going to address what he said in the interview, and then we're going to talk about his credit that he didn't get or all that stuff. One of the things he said was this. Game 6 in NBA Finals, he had a bad back. I forgot what the injury was called, but he had a bad back. And he played through it. And like I said, one of the biggest things in Scottie Pippen's thing is he wasn't painted in a good light in the documentary. So the guy who interviewed him, who was a big Scottie Pippen fan, and not much of a Michael Jordan fan, because you listen to the interview, he was taking jabs at Michael Jordan also, the guy that was interviewing Scottie Pippen. But the guy at least admitted that the documentary showed that he fought through pain in that series and in that game. And Scottie Pippen said he don't feel as though they told the story. They didn't tell everything. They could have did a better job. First of all, after watching the documentary again, when they talked about Game 6 in the NBA Finals, most of the time they're talking about Scottie Pippen's back. Most of the time, you watched it again, the last episode, and they talk about Game 6 in the NBA Finals. Most of the time, they're talking about how Scottie Pippen, he has to go in the back for 5 minutes. First, they said that, he was having back pain. He had a dunk. He said he wasn't feeling good. And then he went to the back. They massaged it, and he told him he couldn't come back. And then Phil Jackson said himself, gave him praise by saying when Scottie came out, we were barely surviving, and then Scottie came back out, and he was going back to the back, getting a massage for 5 minutes, take some medication, come back in, go back out. He was in and out. Steve Kerr praised him in the documentary, say he was tough. I mean, they talked about it. They talked about how tough you were. And then Michael Jordan went to you and said, hey, man, you're better here in the locker room. He's telling you you're valuable. He's telling you with the bad back you have, you're better here on the floor with us versus in the locker room. But you don't remember that part of the documentary. And then he said, this is blasphemy right here. I forgot the name of the injury he had. So he named the injury, but I'm gonna say bad back. He said, I never hear bad back game. I always hear about the flu game. Scottie, listen. Let me tell you why you hear about the flu game, all right? This is why. When Michael Jordan had a flu or quote unquote stomach virus, right? He had 38 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals. And what you did that same game, and also Michael Jordan shot 48% from the field, 40% from 3-point line. What you did that same game, Scottie Pippen had 17 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, which is pretty good, decent game. But he was 5 of 17 from the field, 29%, 0 for 3 from the field from 3-point line, that's 0%. So you did not pick up Jordan's slack when he was behind. Jordan still had to carry y'all. I'm not saying carry like he had to do everything, but he had to take y'all home. He had to close the deal in the NBA Finals in Utah. But then what you did with your back, now, Joe, listen, Scottie Pippen and Joe, I'm not upset the fact that they do the flu game, but they don't do the back pain game. Okay, so what do you do when you have your pain? Now, I'm not saying Jordan's pain was worse than yours. Yours is clearly worse. I mean, it's your back. It's an actual injury. Jordan was just sick. So look, Scottie Pippen, Game 6 in NBA Finals, he had 8 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Jordan had 45 points out of the 87 points they had. That's 51% of these points. And he scored 16 in the fourth quarter. Game 6, NBA Finals. in Utah. If you lose this game, you got to stay in Utah, play Game 7. You never played a Game 7 in your NBA Finals career. You only played 2 Game 7s in your whole career. So that's why they don't talk about your back game, because you didn't have no heroics numbers wise. You were a hero for sucking it up, being out there, but you didn't do what Jordan did in the flu game. So that's why you don't hear about it. So come on, Scottie. Come on, ready? So look, let's talk about some of the things you did in the documentary that painted you in a bad light. Let's talk about the Cool Coast game winner. Now, everybody always gravitates to the negative stuff. That's how we are as humans. Now, one thing about the documentary, they just told the truth. They had some bad things about Jordan. They had good things about Jordan. Everybody keeps saying the documentary praised Jordan up, but it ain't say nothing bad about him. That's a lie. I'm going to tell you some stuff they said about him. But the documentary, and then Scottie also said it's supposed to highlight the team, not Jordan. First of all, The Last Dance is about the team, but in every team there's a star. In every movie there's a star. And whoever that star is going to gravitate to the star. That's what the movie does, right? So Jordan was a star. I'm sorry. When they had a Jackson 5 movie, most of the movie is about Michael Jackson. That's just how it is, you know? So now, that game, you were wrong, Scottie. You know you were wrong. But you can't, come on, you can't quit your team like that. But on top of that, you forgot to mention that they praised you during that time. They mentioned that Jordan wasn't there and y'all still won 55 games. They didn't mention when Jordan was gone, you were probably the best player in the NBA. They were saying that in the documentary. They was hyping you up. Not hyping you up, but they was giving you credit. But they also had to tell the dirty laundry. You did that. You can't, and that was huge. So, they had to tell the story. So, also, another thing they talked about, your contract. So you signed a bad contract. You did say that Jerry did not talk to you like he said in the documentary. He said he told you. He said, like I told Mike, you don't want to sign his contract. And you said that that's the biggest lie. So I'm gonna believe you in that. But it still doesn't stop what you did. You signed a contract. This wasn't your rookie contract. This was in 1991. In 1991, you signed a contract after being in the league for a few years. You signed a contract because of your personal reasons. You said to yourself in the documentary, you had families, you had people, I think you had 2 people in your family, 2 of your siblings were paralyzed. You had to take care of your parents. So you had to do things. You needed money now, and you said to yourself, you want to secure it just in case you get hurt. And then you go back to them and try to renegotiate, and they don't want to renegotiate. You can't get mad at them. You signed a contract. I'm sorry. And then while you're going through the contract situation, they praised you again. They praised you again. They mentioned that you were second in points during the championship run. You were second in points, second in rebounding, second in minutes played, first in assists, first in steals, but you were the 6th highest paid in your team, 122nd paid NBA salary in the NBA. So you were getting praises, dude. But you keep deflecting that part. They mentioned you were very valuable and you were underpaid. But dude, you signed a contract. And you can't get mad at Jordan for calling you selfish. You gotta think about this. Jordan, at every given time he had an opportunity to play, he played, no matter what was going on. Think about it. He got hurt and they limited his play and they were trying to lose, and Jordan still played hard for the team. They told Jordan that they were going to break the balls and all that stuff, and he still played hard. No matter what was going on outside the court, he still played hard for them. But you, on the other hand, you would rather push your surgery to have it in the start of the season because you didn't want to mess up your summer? Dude, that's selfish. And you actually said it in the interview. Nobody said it for you. Nobody told that story for you. You said that out of your own words. So I don't understand why you mad, bro. The migraine game. It happened. You had a migraine in game 7. Jordan didn't bash you. They asked Jordan about it. Jordan said he had a migraine. I mean, what are you supposed to do? I mean, he never beat you up for it. Nobody did. For real, you watch a documentary, nobody beat you up for it. Everybody understood. I forgot his name. The guy from the Pistons, I forgot his name. He ended up going to the Bulls. I can't think of his name right now. But he said, you got a migraine, you can't see, and you got to deal with Dennis Rodman. That's tough. Like they were saying that you was in a tough situation. Nobody bashed you for the migraine game. So why are you mad? And then the next year, they praised you. You forget about that. So you guys losing game 7 because of your migraine. Then the following year, y'all sweep Detroit. They said in the documentary, they said you got fouled. And then the fact that you didn't retaliate, you, Scottie Pippen, you sent a message to Detroit that it was over. And then they also mentioned in the documentary that you were the player of the game 4, when y'all swept Detroit. But you keep forgetting that part. All you mention is the negative side. You're getting a bunch of praise. You're getting I think the praise you're getting is enough. That's what you need. You think you were more valuable than what they're telling you are. Dude. Well, do I have to say it again? Michael Jordan scored 45 points in game 6. That's 51% of y'all points. So look, stop tripping, man. Now look, let me tell you some more stuff they glorified you at. They said in the documentary, in the first championship, they gave a lot of the time they would talk about you in the first championship because you guarded Magic Johnson. They said this. David Aldridge said Magic Johnson is the best point guard. Scottie Pippen guarded him 94 feet. Nobody did that. You were the first one to guard Magic Johnson and gave him problems 94 feet. They mentioned it in the documentary. Why are you mad? So look, they messed up. And then Phil also said, when your salary situation and your contract, he said that you were probably the second best player in the NBA at the time in 1998. In 1998, Phil Jackson said you were probably the second best player in the NBA. You getting your props. Now, let me tell you all the negative stuff they said about Michael Jordan. They mentioned his gambling in the documentary. They even try to link his gambling problems to his father's death. He mentioned that in the documentary. They also talk about how he wasn't with the civil rights movements and back then, and how he said Republicans buy Jordans too. He mentioned that in the documentary. They also mentioned that he missed a free throw to win the game against the Cavaliers in the playoffs. They showed that. They also show how when Phil took over, that Michael Jordan was playing selfish basketball. They mentioned that. They mentioned that he was all about him. He wasn't thinking team. And he said himself that he had to switch his mentality to thinking team. How the previous coach, Collins, was focused on putting the ball in his hands, while Phil Jackson is focused on taking the ball out of his hands and making more of a team game, creating more threats. And you said in the documentary that, hey, Collins was for Michael, Phil was for the team. So they mentioned his selfish play. And listen, also they talked about how Jordan, quote unquote, bullied his team, how angry he was, how he punched this person, punched that person. They talked about the negative stuff too. And one thing about you, Scottie, what Jordan always say, every time Jordan speaks, he always praise you to the highest level. He always says there will be no Michael Jordan with him, Scottie Pippen. He always says that. So why are you mad? Now look, the last thing I want to talk about, you mentioned, it's one of the first things you mentioned in the interview. You said that Michael Jordan needed you, but you also needed Michael Jordan. But Michael Jordan needed you more than you needed him. What? And then the guy that interviewed mentioned, yeah, Scottie, you won 55 games without Michael Jordan. But Jordan never won that many games without you. First of all, and then he compared him to the Wizards game. Like he said, after you came, let's talk about this first. A lot of people say that he needed Scottie Pippen to win. So let's talk about the Cavs series, his first series that he won. Against the Cavs, Jordan averaged 45.2 points, 5.4 rebounds, 4.8 assists, 2.8 steals, 1.6 blocks. Well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna compare them. I'm gonna compare his numbers to Scottie, because they said he needed Scottie to win the playoff series. Jordan averaged 45 points. Scottie averaged 10. Jordan averaged 5 rebounds. Scottie also averaged 5 rebounds. Jordan averaged 4 assists. Scottie averaged 2 assists. With Jordan's 4.8 assists. Jordan averaged 2.8 steals. Scottie averaged 0.8 steals. Jordan averaged 1.6 blocks. Scottie averaged 1 block. So Scottie wasn't a big contributor. He wasn't even a second best player at the time. So listen, all I know is you get your credit, dude. You get your credit. So I don't know why he's running around badmouthing Michael Jordan. I mean, the dude and then it was I believe it was a fair documentary. It was a fair documentary. You watched it again, like Jordan. They say good things, great things about Scottie the whole docu-series. So that's my take on that, y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, and I'll see y'all next episode. All right, thank you guys for staying to the end of the video. Now, before you leave, this is what I want you guys to do. I want you to like this video if you haven't done it yet. I want you to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done it yet. Share this video with someone you know that will be interested in listening to what we talked about today. And last but not least, hit the notification bell so you can make sure every time we upload a video, you'll be notified on YouTube. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next episode.